Hi there, Alexis here. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to use concealer underneath of the eyes to conceal under eye circles and how to make your under eyes look brighter and more lifted. So if you're new to using concealer or you're wanting to learn more tips on how to prolong the wear of your concealer and how to prevent your concealer from creasing, then keep on watching. The first thing you do before applying concealer in your face makeup is you're going to prep the skin. This step will help with preventing concealer from settling into fine lines and wrinkles by prepping the eye area with eye cream or moisturizer. So go ahead and pat in your moisturizer or eye cream under the eye and allow time for it to sink in for at least 1 minute before applying makeup. Next, if you're going to apply foundation or BB creams, apply those first and then apply your concealer. If you apply your foundations or your BB creams first, you'll see that you do not need to use as much concealer. However, if you apply concealer first, you'll remove most of it by applying your foundation over it. For days you just don't need as much coverage or you prefer a light amount of coverage, use a pointed brush to dab on 3 dots of concealer under each eye, and then blend the formula by patting it with your finger using a tapping motion to blend, rather than a smearing motion which can spread the formula too thin and it could harm the delicate skin around your eye. Another tip for layering on concealers over products: as I previously mentioned, when you go to apply your concealer, it is best applied over foundations or BB creams, rather than applying your concealer over top of pressed or loose powders. When applying creamy concealers over powders, it can cause the powders to actually break apart, which is something that we want to completely avoid. Now, the most flattering way to apply concealer is to draw a triangle with the base under your eye and the point toward your cheek. This shape not only conceals dark circles, but it also instantly creates the illusion that your face is lifted. So think of it as holding a flashlight against your cheek, shining the light right underneath of the eye and drawing the focus upward. You can then buff out the concealer into your skin with your finger, or for more of a natural finish, after applying your concealer, wet your fingers with a dab of water and press it into the skin. Or for best results, use a damp beauty sponge and softly press that into the skin, which will allow the concealers to softly blend into your foundation. Now, after you've applied your concealer, if you've noticed you've applied a little too much concealer for your liking, or let's say midday your concealer starts to crease, here's what you can do. Blot the area with a thin tissue to prevent the product from settling in the creases around your eye. With using this tissue to blot in that area, it can help with taking away the excess amount of concealer, as well as, like I was saying, midday you have some shine or some oil coming through your concealer. It'll help with picking up any excess oil with blotting it with a tissue, as well as softening out any creasing that has occurred. And as a last step, you can set everything in place with a loose powder. With this translucent setting powder and a variety of tools, I'll be showing you how you can help keep your concealer in place and shine free throughout the day with a couple of different ways for setting it. To softly set the under eyes with loose translucent setting powder, tapping off the excess, we're going to press and roll the setting powder underneath of the eyes. Again, with this press and roll technique, you can use a powder brush and softly press and roll it into the skin. Just do not aggressively blend or rub when using this technique. Now you can use the other end for a precise application underneath of the eyes. To really keep that concealer in place and to prevent oils and shine from coming through on the skin, use a powder puff to apply the loose translucent setting powder in a blotting motion. You can also, again, with this, use a press and roll technique to really press that translucent setting powder into the skin. And with this technique, if you see excess translucent setting powder laying over your makeup, over your concealer and your foundation, you can let it sit on your skin for a couple of minutes, even after pressing and rolling, to work with really setting your makeup into place. And to take off any excess translucent setting powder, softly dust it off with a powder brush and avoid aggressively blending or rubbing. And here are a couple tips when picking concealer shades for the under eyes. If you're wanting a concealer to really brighten and lift the under eye, consider a shade that is a couple shades lighter than your foundations. I prefer to go about 1 to 2 shades lighter for my concealer underneath of my eyes for a soft, lifted, brightened effect. And for those that have really prominent blue under eye circles, use a yellow undertone concealer to neutralize out those blue undertones. For those who have brown or yellow undertones to their under eye circles, use a peachy undertone concealer to neutralize out the yellow and brown, or use a green-based formula to counteract any redness underneath of the eyes. And those are my top tips for using concealer underneath of the eyes to conceal dark circles, as well as brightening and lifting the under eyes, as well as how you can prevent creasing with your concealer and setting it in place for a longer lasting performance. And if you'd like help color matching with concealer, comment below concealer and I'll shoot a message your direction and help you out with that as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Feel free to click the share button on this video or tag anyone in the comments below that you think could benefit from this video. Be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed this tutorial and walkthrough of how to use concealer. And do not forget to click that subscribe or follow button on this page, as well as the turn on notification or bell so that you don't miss out on my future tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!